Computer. Okay, we are live. Welcome, everybody. This is Big Papa. This is what my grandkids call me, Michael Lantz. I live here in Las Vegas, Nevada. I love Isagenix. I'm a 5-star Golden Circle, and as the topic today is, it's like starting over. And I know as I've reached out to a couple people that's going to be sharing today, Miss Mona, she felt like she was starting over, and I know from talking to Liddy and some others, it's like starting over, and it's okay. If you're on this call because you want to start over, then this is the call for you. It will be recorded, and I will post it on probably, oh shoot, I'm drawing a blank, YouTube, my YouTube channel, and then it'll be linked to my webpage, and I'll provide everyone a link to that so you can have your own people get on. Let me just get into this because I want to make this short and sweet. If you feel like you're starting over, maybe before you had a great product experience and you wanted to share and you wanted to earn a little money and one thing led to another, and you just kind of fell away from that mindset. You may or may not still be using the product, and you might be feeling like, man, this is a good place for me to start again. And I get it. I get starting over creates some uncertainty. Maybe I know for me at times, especially right now, and I'll share my story at the very end that's more in detail. I felt alone. I don't, like, who do I turn to? Who can help me? and maybe some of you are like some other people I've talked to that you really blitzed it in the beginning. You don't have any more leads, and like, okay, now what do I do? How do I start over? And some people that I've talked to one-on-one about this that feel like they're starting over, some of them even believe that they failed in the beginning. Oh my gosh, I was really doing good and life got in the way and I feel like I'm a failure. If you have any of those feelings, then you're in the right place, because the truth is, in anything in life, you could start over, period. Start overs are okay. I'm like embracing my start over in the biggest way. I am so grateful for all of you that are on this call. I was sharing with Mona and Carter. They'll be sharing with us here shortly how grateful I am to them, how grateful I am to each of you. I have an open book. If any of you want to ever call me, I just had the most wonderful chat with Mona and Carter. Was it today, Carter? We talked, or yesterday? Oh, okay. Well,
sorry, yesterday. It was yesterday. Sorry, I didn't want to pop in, but yes, it was yesterday we talked.
Okay. Well, see, at my age, I don't know when they do. And I know Mona and I have always had great conversations. I just love her and her whole family, and her brother's on the line. And he's like my favorite person in the whole world. And that's why he is the T-Rod. So the thing that each of you can move forward, and you might be saying, okay, well, how do I get started again? And we're going to answer that. Actually, I'm going to attempt to provide you a way to do that. I wouldn't say it's going to be easy. Nothing's easy. As I was chatting with Darlene, she was going to share today, and then right at the last minute, she had something that she couldn't be on the call, and she felt like, she said, this is hard running a business. It is. And as you embrace this as a way to earn a little extra money, maybe just pay for your product, maybe you just want to even embrace using the product again, sometimes that's hard. It's anybody that's ever succeeded as an entrepreneur. And I was so grateful when I was practiced as a CPA, and most of my clients were entrepreneurs. I saw how hard they worked, how lonely it was. As you start embracing this, you might feel that. And yet, as I have felt those same things, the other thing that I'm grateful for, and maybe some of you can relate to this, I am so grateful for the culture of Isagenix. I'm grateful for the product. The product rocks. I've had to kind of twist it a little bit to make low carb work for me, but it works if you're regular or you're low carb. I'm so grateful for that. The other thing that I'm grateful for is the knowledge that I've acquired over the years. No one can ever take that away from me. All the times I've sat in celebration, New Year's kickoff, on tons of Zoom calls. I've read Eric Worre's book, GoPro, I don't know, 15, 20 times. I've listened to his GoPro tape, 15, 20. I'm just grateful for my knowledge. And like anybody else, you can have all the knowledge in the world, but if you don't have some key elements, it ain't going to work. Seriously. There's a YouTube, and it's called, help me out, somebody, if unmute it. It's called Got Grit, or I saw it posted I saw it in Celebration. David Wood showed it. And people that succeed, they got grit, basically. And yet, what's grit? I think I have the solution for grit, and as an answer to how each of you can get started and be effective again. Let me just get into a little bit here that's going to set the stage for both Carter and Mona is going to do a little share, and I'm really excited to listen. Actually, I'm getting my voice. You guys don't want to come hear me yet. Yeah, it was a TED Talk, Thomas. That's exactly right. And so here's where you start. And it goes back, if you've been to any Isagenix corporate event, you've heard them talk about what is your why. And I can tell you, when I first started my journey in Isagenix, I didn't know what my why was. I now know what it is, and I'm really passionate about it, and I'll share that at the very end. And so you have to figure out what your why is, and I didn't always know how to do that. I didn't always know how to figure out what my why was. It was like a moving target. Anybody else, by a show of hands, feel like your why is like moved, and you're not sure why you want to do the business? Yeah, Laura's that way. I mean, and that's okay. And yet you're on this call because you want to start again, or you want some motivation. And so you have a why in you, or you wouldn't be on this call right now. If that's the only thing you can identify as why you're on this call, and it's a little mustard seed, which is tiny, that's all you need to get going again. And yet I was in a Toastmasters meeting on Tuesday, and one of our team members, who's a life coach, presented another twist to figuring out what your why is. And it's really your value system. And she recommended, and I wholeheartedly agree, to go do a Google and type in values or the word principles. And you're going to get a whole list of them. And she said to pick out the top 8. There's a book I read some time ago, and about exactly the same thing. It was called The Endorphin Zone, I believe. And this gentleman had all these different principles, and he had you pick out 8. And I went and looked at that, and it mirrors exactly what my friend at Toastmasters said. And then out of that 8, you narrow it down to at least 3, no more than 5. And as she was saying that, because recently I spent a lot of time in deep thought, prayer, meditation, I really got real with myself and what my why is. And I'll share that with you when Thomas and, when Carter and Mona are finished sharing their why. And that's where you start. You want to start your business, spend some reflective time on why you want to do it, and pick out at least 3 principles or values that are meaningful to you. And from that, with this other little aspect that I'll give you at the very end, is the starting place for you to start over again. Because there is not one person on this call, and I know if I asked Liddy this, who is just a wonderful leader, she will tell you that, has she been discouraged? Lady, raise your hand if you've been discouraged. Yep. Anybody, raise your hand if you've not been discouraged. Okay. we all get discouraged. And what pulls us through that is why you're doing it. If that why is big enough, it's going to pull you through your discouragement. What I'd like to do right now, because I want to honor this 30-minute commitment here, is I want to turn some time over to Mona Sims. And Mona's going to share with us kind of her why, her passion, why she feels like this is the thing for her. And Mona, you're on.
Thank you, Mike. First of all, thank you for inviting me to be a part of your call. Thank you for giving me the opportunity to share my story. I really have to thank you because you made me really think back to my why and what that why is, because the why has changed over and over again. And I will be honest with you, when I first started sharing, it was because I liked the idea of free food. Like that was going to help my family's budget. And then as I realized that this could be something that I could do as a profession, I realized that this is exactly what I needed. And for those of you who don't know me, my name is Mona Sims. I'm a military spouse currently living in Washington, D.C. with my Marine husband, Nick. And we have a wonderful, beautiful marriage, and it's given me the opportunity to move 14 times since we graduated from college. So if you guys think about what 14 job searches might look like, I guarantee you there's nothing more discouraging than thinking you have a pretty good resume and never hearing back from a recruiter or an HR director or an HR manager or a deciding person. And when I realized that I would never have to be a job seeker again, that I could take my flexible, portable career with me from duty station to duty station, and that I could fully support my husband in his career, yet still have some personal value, something that I bring to the table to help people, then I knew that this is where I was meant to be. And so sometimes I help people because I like free products. And other times it's because I refuse to get on monster.com ever, ever, ever again. And sometimes it's because I genuinely enjoy helping people feel good. And sometimes when I don't want to do anything, I think about the teammates that really need me to help them. And by helping them, that's identifying more people that as a team that we can help. And so when I have to put into less than 2 minutes as to what my why is, one, it's because I don't want to be a job seeker again. I'm pretty proud of what I do as a professional network marketer. And two, I have a lot of pride in being able to help not only my team, but those of us that we're able to help find some freedom from physical pain. And so that's my why right now. And for those of you guys that are nervous about starting over, don't be nervous. Starting over is a beautiful, beautiful place because we bring with us a ton of amazing knowledge. So we're not starting from ground zero, we're starting from up here. And then when we start again, we start from up here. So starting over is really a true blessing because those that you do get the opportunity to support moving forward, you're bringing a ton of knowledge and experience and past challenges to the table. So I hope that answers your question, Mike.
Well, it does. I appreciate that. And I think all of us heard your passion about that. Let me just ask you one more question. Mona, maybe a month ago, went after it and became a 1-star Silver Circle. She cycled 10 times in a week. Tell us how that felt.
At first, it felt like this is crazy. There is no way that I'm going to cycle 10 times in a week. And I gathered my little tribe, which is my family, Tomas and Sophia, and multiple times a day, I would let them know what I needed to get to the next cycle. And I reached out to my upline, I reached out to my downline, I reached out to my family, I reached out to anyone who I thought could help me reach this goal. And what was so fabulous was that so many people were excited about me reaching the goal. And I thought I was the one that was cheering everyone else out all the time. And finally, I found that there were a ton of people that wanted me to reach this goal. And more than the goal, it felt so good to know that lots of people wanted to see me succeed. And so it was a really great feeling, Mike.
Okay. And you went after it. I mean, I'm going to stress that. Went after it. You I don't know, starting that week, you figured you wanted to do it and you put in some effort. Would you agree that that was like a lot of energy went into that?
I don't remember cleaning my house much that week. I don't remember washing my hair much that week. I remember asking my husband to kind of step up and help us plan some dinners and prepare some dinners and let him know that I was really focused on this goal and that I was going to reach this goal. And he got really excited about me reaching the goal. So there were a lot of things that are very high on my priority list that week, they kind of got pushed aside a little bit so that I could be the better me the next week to my family, to my friends, to the other things that are important in my life.
One last question here, and then I'll turn it over to Carter here, is what you did with your energy level, your focus, you had a people help you achieve that goal. Number one question, and then I'll tailor it with a second question, then it'd be the last one, is what you did duplicatable? And number two, do you think you could do that over a 90-day period every day?
At that intensity level, it would be extremely challenging to do for 90 days. Like it would be the difference between running a 1 mile sprint and a 10K. Like you kind of have to manage the energy level. You have to manage your expectations. You have to know that you're not going to be done in 6 minutes or 4 minutes or whatever, that it might take you an hour to run a 10K. So it is something that can be done. It's something that what I learned in that week can be duplicable because once you do it once, you know you can do it again and again.
Okay.
And again.
I know that when I've heard Lynn Hagedorn's story, she left another company, 8-year professional network marketer. She had all that knowledge that Mona had mentioned, and she went after it. She worked 14 hours a day, 6 days a week for 14 months and earned $1 million. 14 hours a day. That's awesome. Mona, thank you so much for that share. And it was wonderful. Mr. Carter and Wayne. Carter, would you share with us your why? And you'll have to unmute yourself too.
Yep, I will. Well, thank you, Mike. Thank you, everyone. I'm gonna take the first minute or so to express some true gratitude. First of all, Mike, for hosting this, for mentoring in the last little bit. Mona, that was absolutely beautiful. And for all you guys, this is the coolest thing. I'm just gonna say, the longer you guys are plugged in and we are plugged in together, you will see the transformations going on. And Mona has just transformed. When I met her a couple of years ago, she is nowhere near that articulate, just she's grown into her own. So I echo that about the gratitude, about this culture, about becoming the best you. And I couldn't be any more grateful for that. Liddy Flom, I see her on here. Man, she reached out to me a year ago and said, let's do some start calls. You know what I'm saying? How awesome is this culture? And that's going to fade into my story if I can share it with you guys a little bit. Previously before Isagenix, I graduated in the criminal justice field. So I was in the legal field, working the jobs and everything. And I didn't really realize it, but I had some other passions, and those passions were sports, athletics, things like that. And this is where it comes from. For some of you that don't know me, from 2004 to 2006, I had my own transformation in the gym. I was not introduced to these amazing products or this amazing nutrition at that point. But at that point, what was hatching was my true passion for bettering my body, bettering my mind. And, little did I know that I would stumble upon an opportunity to help other people do the very same thing. And so when I was, in 2014, I actually was a little bit sick and just not fulfilled, if that makes sense. And part of that was, man, at that moment, I didn't really realize that it was my true why. So see if you guys can see this. In 2013, early 2013, I was given Christmas of 2012, my ex-girlfriend gave me Wayne. And Who knows Wayne? Put up your hand. Everyone seen Wayne? You guys that haven't followed me, come, let's connect. Here he is. He's my dog. I wish I could move my computer. He's down here by my side, just chilling in a blanket. And guys, here it is. It dawned on me that I had this amazing pit bull, this amazing Staffordshire Terrier. He's beautiful. He's my right-hand buddy. And it just made no sense to leave him at home for 9 hours a day, just to come home for him laying on the bed. Now, I hope some of you guys have kids. I don't have, the human kids, but I want you to put that in perspective of how powerful that can be to really spend time with your loved ones. And that really was the brewing of something that I would not settle for. I love when Mike just had a great conversation with me, because he really made me check my value system. And again, little did I know I was coming from a value. And that value that really resonates in my heart is freedom. And I'm going to take it one step closer, and it's actually more about choice. I desire the choice to design, to get up and design my own life and not have someone tell me what to be doing every day. I desire to be able to make the decision when I go on a walk with Wayne and when I spend time with him. So that really has transformed the reason I'm doing this, the true reason. Now, here's where it has really sunk in, and I'm ready to start over, as Mike says. I'm ready to put this, because my why just got a bunch of firewood put up under it. It is flaming hot, and I'll tell you why. Early September this year, I took Wayne to some swimming therapy. We needed to build back up his muscle mass in his chest. Well, he got out of the swimming pool and was huffing and puffing, leaned over, collapsed, had 2 seizure-like episodes. I mean, what's going through my head? This is my pride. I kind of freaked out. Well, lo and behold, through much testing, we got him down to the proper facilities. He's got cancer on his heart, guys. He has a mass on his heart. And basically all the doctors came to me and said, we can't do anything about the cancer, but there's a procedure called a pericardectomy. And it was basically, it's cutting out the bottom third of the sac around the heart. And so many consultations with doctors, holistic, and, trust me, guys, I have Wayne taking this nutrition. He gets his shakes. He gets his product B, Isagenix. I mean, are you serious? He's been getting this for sure. So there's no way that I'm just going to listen. Hey, I hope you guys do have a good balance between holistic and, modern medication. There's nothing wrong with modern medication, but I'm not just going to slam him, full of, tots and stuff. So I was looking at it from both sides. Anyways, all the doctors came together. They recommended this surgery. Guys, I'll sum it up this way, and this is where I get vulnerable. It was scheduled to be 3 days in the hospital. Again, shout out to the fact that I could spend those days with him. It was supposed to be $3,000. Well, guys, it turned into 8 days and $8,800. So if there isn't something underneath me, I can't imagine what would cause me to feel this way. So my why is Wayne. My why is taking care of that bill. My why is having, my own place, my own just choice, if that makes sense. And just like Mona and Mike have suggested, guys, feel free that can change. It's supposed to change, because when you hit a goal and when you hit something, it's on to the next thing. It's on to the next thing. And so my why is, but I also know that what's the coolest thing is I'm not going out and competing against really other people. I have this beautiful team of people who are supporting me. Just like Mona said, how cool is that we have a culture that roots you on? When I put my head down, as I'm about to, especially for 2018, and when I become, as some of you, I hope some of you guys, I hope all of you guys know about the Start 1000. That is absolutely on my vision board. And I know it can give me choice. It can give me financial freedom with Wayne. It can just let me live the life that I choose. So anyways, there you go, Mike. Was there anything else that?
No, that was awesome, dude.
Awesome.
Carter, I've had the privilege of working with one-on-one, and as he's sharing that, my heart's beating, and I just feel for him. Anyway, in the essence of time, because we're approaching that 30-minute mark, I just want each of you to hopefully something that Mona and Carter resonated. Each of you have your own stories. Each of you have your own why. I'll echo what Darlene Provo told me today. And unfortunately, she couldn't be on to share. She had something come up, but she said to me something, and it's kind of what I want to leave with. I don't need to tell you my story too much. I mean, over time, you'll perhaps learn it, because I'm going to give you a way to start and get some personal hand-holding, if you will, is that it's hard. It's hard to create freedom. That is my absolute number one why, is freedom. And for me, it's financial peace. In Isagenix, as Dave MacArthur has taught so many times, is if your personal development is here and your income rises to here, eventually your income's going to do this. And so for me, I don't know how it happened, but I was at a 5-star cycling over 100 times a week a few years ago in 2014. And it kind of continued. It dropped a little, and now it crashed. I went from having financial freedom to having to pull money out of my retirement account to live. 2 weeks ago, I had my lowest cycles ever, except, well, really, because I came out of the gate, my first weekly cycle, after being a member for 4 years, I was a product user for 4 years, developing all that, BV down below me. My first cycle was 16. I haven't cycled less than 16 since 2010, except 2 weeks ago, I had 9 cycles. And I could look at that one of two ways. I could be disappointed and have that anxiety, which is why freedom is huge for me, financial peace. Or I could be grateful as I was 7 years ago when I cycled 16 times, as grateful as I was when I hit 20 cycles, as grateful as I was when I hit 40 cycles. And so now my personal development is here. And now my income is going to rise to that. And in this rise, it's going to be work. And for each of you, for whatever you want out of Isagenix, maybe each of you just want your product paid for. Maybe each of you, like in Carter's case, you'd like to serve others. You feel like a connection to your purpose. Isagenix can do all of that. It's going to be hard. I'm not going to lie to you. I know if I had more time to let Liddy talk, she'd tell you it's not easy. I would be lying to you if I said that it was. And yet, the question you have to ask yourself, and I know that Mona and Carter would both say this because they've had some hard moments. I know. I've talked to them. The question is it worth it? Anything worthwhile is hard and challenging. Anything. And yet on the flip side of that, with residual income, based on a team that is together, all of you have the same probably goals I do. You love health. You love helping people. That's this culture that we're going to create together. Each of you are going to forge through this challenges as you move toward getting back to consultant even. And then you move to manager. You'll learn some new skill sets, and then you learn to do director. And then you get to executive, and then you get to the 10 cycles like Mona had, and then you'll get to the 20 cycle mark. All of that creates growth and momentum. You got to cut out the distractions. And I'm going to leave with this final thing here. That is my phone number. This is a recorded call. If you got a notepad, you could certainly write it down. This is what I'm willing to do for you. And I know, without even asking her, if any of you are under Liddy's arm, she will do the exact same thing that I'm offering. Is that true, Liddy? She's saying it would be. I want to help you one-on-one. 2016, a year ago, I went to the John Maxwell team training to learn how to coach. I would mentor any of you. If you give me a foot, I'll give you a yard. The fact that you're on this call right now tells me that I want to work with you. You just have to reach out to me at that phone number. You can call or text me, and we'll schedule a time, and I will work with you. One last thing here. I love triathlon. I'm not going to lie to anybody. That's part of my freedom, is having the choice to do that. I want to get back to Kona, but not just to finish, but to win and be a world champion. I'm taking all of 2018 off. I'm going to work Isagenix 40 hours per week, just like it's a job, like I hired myself. 80% of that time, 32 hours a week, I'm going to be recruiting. 8 hours a week, I'm helping each of you. I am willing to forsake, and I've always thought it was not an either or but an and. It's not. Now it's Isagenix 100% of the time. I want to do that. I want to see what we can accomplish together, all of us, to do that. All starting with your why. All starting with these values. All starting with you reaching out to me. 702-497-9649. I will get right back to you. I promise. Whatever I'm doing, unless I'm in the middle of, something. I fixed a toilet today. I wouldn't have got back to you fixing that, or training, but I'll get right back to you. We'll schedule a time. And if you want to start this journey, I will lock arms with anybody. So will Liddy. So that's how you get started. You don't need to know any more than that. We will teach you to do that. We will love all over you. Mona and Carter will love all over you. We will just love all over you. But the buy-in, you got to give us a foot, and we'll give you a yard. I'm going to open it up. We're over 30 minutes, but I'll open it up to any of you that want like a minute or less little share. Any of you that would like to express that you do want to start over and that this call helped you. Any of you that want to share just for a minute or so, I'll take like 3 or 4 of you and remind you, this is recorded. People are going to be listening to this. So if you're going to share with us, I want some energy out of you so that people will hear this and go, that's what I want. Any of you, I'll open it up to anybody that wants to share for like a minute or so. If just unmute and go for it. If any of you want to go.
Unmute.
Go ahead. It's somebody on the phone call. Who's ever on a phone is breaking up if you're wanting to share with us. I'm so sorry. Lori, I know that you unmuted, so go for it. Miss Gillick.
Thank you, Michael. And thank you for this call. And I loved what Mona said. And I loved what Carter said. And I could feel your heart, Carter. And I'm so happy Wayne's doing better. I was cheering you guys on and praying for you. And I love the opportunity to be able to have the support from all around the country. And I can be up here in northern Minnesota. And I've been set up for this time, to be restart, reset. And so it's pretty exciting to hear all you share. And I'm just thankful for this opportunity to be here and appreciate everybody's openness and authenticity. Is that the word? And so I'm looking forward for a great new beginning.
Thanks, Lori. That's awesome.
Yeah.
Anyone else? I know Liddy's going to talk, but she's waiting for some of you to precede her.
Okay, I'll speak.
Hi, Kelly. Go for it.
Hi. So I had the absolute pleasure of meeting Liddy and Laura at our at Lenny Evans's Bliss Retreat in St. George, Utah a few weeks ago. And my why is that I have a 3 and soon to be 4 and a 6-year-old and a bunch of rescue animals. And I've worked my ass off my whole life. I'm a very accomplished person, but I've been searching for a way to be at home raising my kids as a single mom, be at home raising my kids and still making the income that we need to thrive and survive. And for me to pay back and give the way I want to give, I'm really into, like my calling is rescuing animals. It's a calling. And I have a huge desire to help people. And so anytime I come across something in need, I want to fix it. Even if I'm always looking for a solution. And so for me, the residual income has already been helping us. I shot off like a rocket. I was doing great. And then a lot of life happened and I went, okay. And so for me, that's kind of where my reset is. And I've set a goal for making director by the end of December and executive by April 1st, because that day just gave me a laugh that it was April Fool's Day. I'm really good at approaching people. I'm really good at connecting with them. And I'm trying to unstuck myself, so to speak, with getting them past, like when I give them information, they're all ready to go and I give them information and then they die. So those are what I'm trying to find and what I'm searching for is to get myself out of that pattern. And I was thankful that Liddy invited me on this call. And because I know that she's I can't speak more highly of her. She's Liddy, and so I know that the Liddy. And so however she's connected and whatever she's doing, I'm open to it.
Thanks, Kelly. That was awesome, and what a great why. And like in Carter's case, or Mona's getting to 10 cycles, you've now casted out this net about rescuing animals, and we're all for that. And trust me, when you told me, and I'll let Liddy do the last share here, because I've gone over my 30 minutes and I'm a man of integrity. But oh shoot, I lost my train of thought. Ugh. Well, anyway, all of those periods where people said no, that you thought were excited. Just like in my case, when my income nosedived, that was a blessing to me. And it will be for you. Liddy, would you kind of close this out for us, and then I'll shut this bad boy off and we will rock. Go ahead, Liddy. The Liddy.
Well, first of all, I just want to say how much it is a pleasure to be on this call. Michael, thank you for just making this a possibility, and then bringing on Mona, the question that you were asked, which I thought was so brilliant, which was, is that duplicatable? And what you said is like, that was work. And that what we learned is like, in the beginning is like, you had to have it like here somewhat, but in your heart, it was bigger than, what was in your head. So somehow those two come together. And as we know, it's like bridging the longest journey is going from your head to your heart. And truly it's your heart that speaks into your brain or your mind. And so then you drive it from this point of reference, but you really don't do them separate. You do them together. So that's why I like, what we talk about is the why. Carter, telling your story. And one of the things that I think that when we look at business, number one, it's like having team and having the ability to call upon them, doing three-way calling. I'm hoping that we can teach you that, Kelly, one of the things you said is like you have them so far and then all of a sudden they disappear. I want to help bridging that gap, because it's in the three-way call, the power of the three-way call. And then I have systems that I've set up over the past 34 years of like really what works. And when I don't work it that way, I see, it's all about connections. It's about staying connected. So is there a pattern? Yes. Every day, until you close them. And then it's 3 days after that. And then it's 7 days after that. And then it's 14 days. And then it's 21 and 30. So that's my callback schedule. I'll share it with you, my system that I have that, can be easily taught, but you don't have to like keep all that in your mind. Like, you know, keeping a calendar is like a card file. So we'll share it with you, Michael. I'm trusting that some way we will be able to present that in a way that everybody can use the tools, and I already have them online, so you can, you know, print them up and you can just go and put them on your own cardstock. So with that, I'm just going to say I want to give from my heart first, and then help you look at how it is that you invite others, and then bridge that gap, close the deal, and then stay connected. Love you all.
Okay, I'm gonna finish. Thanks, Liddy. Could you just tell, like, Liddy's just a little bit passionate? If I didn't put the reins on her, she would have went for 45 minutes. I'm serious, but it would have been a great 45 minutes. She mentioned a three-way. Three-way equals money. Seriously. I don't know why people don't use Liddy and I more. Liddy's used me on 3 ways. I think I've used her twice. And 3 ways are awesome anyway. Each of you, I appreciate it. You've got my phone number again. You just got to reach out, and you're going to get a personal one-on-one mentoring. Just what Liddy will do for you too. I don't have systems. I help you bridge your head to your heart, because what I learned is the answer is already inside of you. Seriously. You just need someone that can draw it out. Well, I help you skill set you. I'll show you where to get all that. But when you can bridge your head to your heart, know it's hard, knowing you're going to be discouraged, and you plow through that, is when you can start this business and excel. Anyway, I love each of you. I'm so grateful that you're on this call. And I'm going to end this thing. And each of you have a great Wednesday, great rest of the week. And I'm looking forward to getting some text out of you right now. And if you guys, one last thing I'll let you go with. If you've had a spark, I think Lori mentioned that up in northern Minnesota. If you have a spark, like, yeah, this is the right thing, and you don't fan that flame tonight, you already have Liddy. Many of you know her number. I'm assuming Karen has all that. If you don't fan that flame tonight, it could go out. This is all about figuring this out. So I'm hopeful that I get some text tonight, and or when I make this video live and you can send people to it, some people are gonna knock it out of the park, and we're just one person away from finding that, person. Anyway, you guys take care. I'm gonna let each of you go, and we're ending this thing right now. You rock. Take care. Bye now.
Bye. Well, I don't know how to
See ya.